Thank you very much, Tahira. Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you to the organizers of this third conference on Urdu. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Like Tahira pointed out, I may be a little out of place here. So I'm going to begin with a qata by Mr. Brave and Injured, Dilaver Figar. एक यूनिवर्सिटी में किसी सूट पोश से मैंने कहा कि आप हैं क्या कोई सार्जेंट? कहने लगे कि आपको मालूम ही नहीं, I am the head of the Urdu department. So why me? Why an oncologist and a die-hard Karachi girl speaking at an Urdu conference on Lahore? Well, as Tahira just confessed, it's her fault. She called me last month and she said that she had heard my speech on LLF and wanted me to continue my meditations on the subject. Thank you, Tahira. I couldn't have been happier. In the last 40 years, I have been to Lahore twice, both in the last 3 years. But the city has held an allure for me since I was a teenager. Because you see, two of my older siblings, whom I absolutely worship, went to medical school at King Edward's Medical College in Lahore. And through them, I met the dazzling and glamorous, the hip, the young, chic crowd of Lahore and was completely dazzled by them. I wanted to spend the rest of my life as a teenager in the walled city. But as I was growing up, there appeared a more urgent second reason for me to be ravished by Lahore. You see, this time as an adult, I fell in love with Lahoris. One example will suffice why I am saying this. As I said earlier this year, I spoke at the Lahore Literary Festival in February. It was a magnificent experience. But the most fantastic part of it didn't come from inside the Alhambra Hall, but from the driver who had been sent to pick me up at the station. He was a perfectly normal-looking, middle-aged guy dressed in a yellow-brownish shalwar kameez, looking like all the other drivers standing around holding up cards with the names on them. I got into the car and we were coasting along the mall road, but as usual, we got stuck in traffic. After a while, he turned to me and he said, "So, Bibi, I know you are a speaker at LLF and that you have come here from New York to speak. Do you mind telling me what you're going to talk about?" I said, "Yeah, I'm talking about the King Mahmud Ghaznavi, who made his slave Ayaz the first Muslim ruler of Lahore 1,000 years ago." He said, "Why did he do that?" I said, "Well, because Ayaz was extremely wise, very quick-witted." He said, "Give me an example." I said, "Well, for example, my dear friend Farah Jan, just before I left for Lahore, told me a little story that one day Mahmud gave his ring to Ayaz and said, 'Write on it something which will make me happy when I'm sad and sad when I'm happy.' And without blinking an eyelid, Ayaz wrote on it the old Persian adage, 'This too shall pass.' So you see, when you're sad and you read this too shall pass, you're happy. And when you're happy and read this too shall pass, The driver was not impressed. He said, Bibi, ye kya baat hui? What is this? Our Punjabi shair, Janab Mahmood Bakhsh, said it better. I said, really? What has he said? He goes, Bakhsh Sahab said, Dushman mare, khushi na kariye. दुश्मन मरे खुशी ना करिए सजना भी मर जाना है. If your enemy dies, don't celebrate. Your beloved is going to die too. So you see, the same, this too shall pass. दुश्मन मरे खुशी ना करिए सजना भी मर जाना है. And then the driver said to me, I haven't studied in a college like you, Bibi. But I know one thing, that the feelings that I have in my heart are best expressed by our great poets. And I connect most with our Qawmi Shair, Allama Iqbal. Let me read you one of the shairs I love. Meanwhile, I took out my paper and I'm taking notes now. And do you know what, this totally ordinary looking driver became so emotional that his voice was breaking. I could see his tears in his eyes. He said to me, तमन्ना दर्द दिल की हो तो कर खिदमत फकीरों की. तमन्ना दर्द दिल की हो तो कर खिदमत फकीरों की. If you have a longing for the exquisite sensitivity, you need to be with the faqirs, the destitutes. तमन्ना दर्द दिल की हो तो कर खिदमत फकीरों की. नहीं मिलता ये गौहर बादशाहों के खजीनों में. You don't find this pearl in the treasure troves of kings. This is why the topic of my talk today is Shahi and Faqeeri, Lahore at its best. Because this is the second reason that I am utterly, eternally and hopelessly enchanted by Lahore. Do you agree that the driver was a sage? He manifested an instinctive understanding of the human condition in all its glory and all its pathos and all its suffering. In 2 lines through the medium of poetry and Sufi thought. Today I live in a deeply unpoetic culture. And let me tell you, this is what I miss most about back home. Here is a driver who's attempting to understand the impact of the world around him on his spiritual life. His existential angst is framed in the language of pain and sensitivity. Lahore and its people respond to poetry at a visceral level. Even if you're traveling in a taxi and some ghazal is blaring on the radio, the driver will say "Wah" at the right moment, even though he has not been to college. The city is full of poetry. Some write it, others recite it. No, actually, Lahore is not full of poetry. Lahore itself is a poem to me. And this is the biggest tribute I could pay to Lahore. It is poetry personified. Many of you know that my day job is that of an oncologist. I see 40 to 50 patients a week and walk most of them to their deaths because I'm generally treating a very fatal disease. In addition, I'm a scientist in charge of a laboratory where we use cutting-edge technology to try and unravel cancer's secrets in all of its granularity. But despite that, I am moved by the exquisite beauty of unraveling biologic secrets just as much as I am by reading poetry. पर तवे खुर से है शबनम को फना की तालीम. Parto is a ray of sun. Khur is short for Khurshid, the sun. Fana, of course, is annihilation, destruction. The dewdrop waits all night because it is in love with the sun. And the sun's first rays come out, and what does it do? Evaporates it. Bhak. And it's gone. Fana, annihilated. You wonder where is Ghalib going with this, with the second line in this. Par tawe khur se hai shabnam ko fana ki taaleem. Main bhi hoon ek inayat ki nazar hone tak. I live because you have not bestowed the grace of your attention on me, because had you done that, I would be annihilated. The reason I am breathing and I am alive is because you haven't looked at me with the Nazre Karam. So here Ghalib is turning his poetry into a beautifully instructed didacticism. He presents the object of desire with a lesson of the dewdrop that melts with the first ray of the sun and turns into nothingness, further suggesting that he is only alive because the desired one has not graced him with one gaze until now. How seamlessly Ghalib has used the conversion of a visible liquid form of water into a gaseous, invisible state through the scientific process of evaporation of the dewdrop to draw parallels to the concept of fana, the complete denial of self and realization of God through the achievement of union with the deity. I've always been interested in the connection of science and poetry. Both seek fundamental answers through a profoundly creative process. Science and poetry are in fact two sides of the same coin. Whether it is two lines of a sher or two strands of the DNA, each encompasses a universe of information. A good sher is like the equation of physics containing a macrocosm of meaning in its symbols, in the microcosmic confines of a few words. Functional MRIs of the brain show that reading poetry increases activity in the right hemisphere of the brain, an area associated with autobiographical memory. What does that mean? It means that reading poetry enables the reader to reflect on and to review their own experiences in the light of what they've read, because it is autobiographical memory. That's where poetry connects with you. All this is academic stuff. The real beauty of the ability to combine Athens and Jerusalem, reason and passion, is embodied in a common Lahori, in that driver. It is also the poetry and reading poetry which gives me the courage to help my patients face terminal illnesses and to guide them through painful last stages of cancer. The LLF driver experiences another kind of longing, a different kind of anguish, one that is shared by all of us. He started me thinking about what this dard-e-dil is, this longing, this quest. What is the source of this agony, our universal beqarari? Asians and Americans, blacks and whites, men and women, Muslims and Jews, Hindus and Christians. This anguish lies at the heart of human beings. That's what leaves us feeling incomplete and tormented. We can have all the wealth and the health and beauty and money and power, everything in the world, but मगर दिल है कि उसकी खाना वीरानी नहीं जाती. What is this anguish? Searching for the essential mystery, what we call the Asrar-e-Azal. All of mystical poetry is directed at addressing this enigma of incompletion, asking who we are, where did we come from, who created us, why are we separated from God, when will we be rejoined, and the constant search is for reunion, Visal. Another man from Lahore provides the solution for this pain, this constant searching. Iqbal is our khizr, our guide towards the calm of consummation. कह रहा है मुझसे ए जुयाए असरारे अजल. Seeker, said the eternal, said he, seeker of eternal secrets, said he addressing me, कह रहा है मुझसे ए जुयाए असरारे अजल. चश्मे दिल वाहो तो तकदीर आलम है बेनकाब. चश्मे दिल वाह हो तो है तकदीर आलम बेनकाब. Seeker, said he, seeker of eternal secrets, when the heart opens its eyes, fates that rule the earth have no more veils. Everything will be revealed. The key to understanding the world around us is the same as the key to understanding another individual. Opening the eyes of the heart. जाहिर की आंख से न तमाशा करे कोई, हो देखना तो दीदे दिल वा करे कोई. Eyes are incapable of witnessing the spectacle. For real vision, open eyes of your heart. हो दीद का जो शौक तो आंखों को बंद कर. हो दीद का जो शौक, if you want to experience real vision, you have to close the eyesight. In other words, to open the insights, you have to close the eyesight. हो दीद का जो शौक तो आंखों को बंद कर, है देखना यही कि ना देखा करे कोई. Real sight comes when one stops trying to see with the eyesight and goes into a different journey of insights. So what the LLF driver said is that the most sought after, tangible, profound existential experience in life is to experience Dard-e-Dil. This does not come from building a big CV. It doesn't come from acquiring status and position and wealth and power. This comes from a very different internal journey. Dard-e-Dil is what prepares you to start that journey, because you must have that exquisite sensitivity before you undertake the first step. Somebody asked Imam Ali, "You are always talking about your God. Have you seen him?" He said, "Yes, I have." Man was shocked. He said, "Really?" And the Imam said, "Yes. I have seen him not with my eyesight, but with my insight." This is the ultimate aim of existence, the meaning of life. This is the state of man where intellectual profundity meets spiritual fecundity, where contemplation and action, being and doing, theory and practice, ideal and reality become one through experiencing beauty and in turn doing what is beautiful. How do you develop this insight? The second lesson is that the seeker will only reach consummation by following one path. नहीं मिलता ये गौहर बादशाहों के खजीनों में, तमन्ना दर्द दिल की हो तो कर खिदमत फकीरों की. So who are these faqirs that we are supposed to follow? Ali bin Hussein al-Zainul Abidin asks his father Hussein bin Ali, to define faqr. The Imam wrote a book in response, Miratul Arifin, the mirror of gnosis. I recommend the book to all of you. I have the translation by Ambreen Mughis Sarwari Qadri from Sultanul Faqr publication in Lahore. The Imam describes a faqir as a destitute and an impoverished person, but not in the material sense. Rather as a person who's freed or cleansed of all needs except one, and that is the need for union with the beloved, with the deity, with God. I think it's very unfair to Imam Hussain that we only invoke his name in relation to the 10 days he spent in Karbala. In fact, Hussain bin Ali was a great Gnostic, a magnificent Sufi, a true faqir in its most sublime connotations. Historically, the term tasawwuf and faqir are all first used by Hussain bin Ali in this book, Miratul Arifin. However, under the Umayyad rule, neither could this book be published nor was it allowed to discuss tasawwuf, Sufism or faqr openly. So for a long time after Hussain bin Ali, the information and teachings of faqr, of tasawwuf and Sufism were kept only in the hearts of his disciples and followers, transmitted from heart to heart. And no one did this with more passion, more energy and more love than the people of Lahore. Allama Iqbal pays him the greatest tribute. An amazing, Inke bakshad be yaqeen ara yaqeen, Inke larzat as sujude u zami. Basically, the faqir is a noble in a way that no mendicant can be. This faqiri doesn't come from sitting under a banyan tree in rags and eating pumpkin seeds and rolling a tasbih. This faqiri comes from utterly purging yourself of all needs. It's an intellectual state of faqiri, of qalandari that I'm talking about. I'm not asking you to go take off your fancy clothes and put on rags. That is not what the Sufi masters are telling you. It is that internal journey. And here is Allama Iqbal from Bale Jibreel. Ek faqr sikhata hai sayyad ko nakhchiri. There is a faqr that teaches the hunter to be prey. एक फ़क्र सिखाता है सयाद को नखचीरी, एक फ़क्र से खुलते हैं इसरार जहांगीरी. There is another that opens the secrets of mastery over the world. और एक फ़क्र से कौमों में मिस्कीनी और दिलगीरी, एक फ़क्र से मिलती है खासियत अक्सीरी. There is a faqr that is the root of needfulness and misery among nations, and there is a faqr that turns dust into elixir. And the final sher so beautiful. Ek faqr hai shabbiri, is faqr mein hai meri meeraas-e musalmani, sarmaya-e shabbiri. One faqr is shabbiri, which is another name for Hussain. And it has qualities of an emperor, which is the real Muslim heritage and the real wealth of our amazing ancestry. The people of Punjab fell in love with this faqiri 1,000 years ago. They have polished it and refined it, their expression of love and devotion to produce poets like Bulle Shah, who summarizes the meaning of faqr in these two parsimonious lines. Ilmu bas kariyo yaar, ikku alif tainu darkar. While I was studying in Dow Medical College, one of my best friends was this beautiful Punjabi woman, Mansoora. She is now a doctor in Houston, very famous and very successful geriatrician. Me and our other friend Anisa, Urdu speaking according to her, were forever regaling her with sher o shairi, which bored her to death. Recently, I met her in Houston. She said, Ajju, these shairs are following me around even here. Recently, this nice looking man came over to me and said, Mansoora ji, I want to recite a sher for you. She said, I got so irritated. I said, no, आज शेर का मूड नहीं है, आज कोई चीता सुना दे. Modern day youth also interprets many shairs like cheetahs. In February, when I was in Pakistan, I was in Islamabad, and we had a lovely mushaira at my college, and Anwar Masood Saab was presiding, and he read this qata for me. Qurban jaun unke lisani shaur ke. Young people who don't understand, lisani shaur is linguistic sensibility. कुर्बान जाऊं उनके लिसानी शऊर के मफहूम एक लफ्ज का जो भी समझ लिया. They decide what is the meaning of the word on their own, depending on their lisani shaur. कुर्बान जाऊं उनके लिसानी शऊर के मफहूम एक लफ्ज का जो भी समझ लिया. अनवर, मेरे वतन के जवानों ने आजकल इकबाल की खुदी को भी सेल्फी समझ लिया. Lahore is as much an ornament of the Mughal Empire with its Grand Trunk Road and its magnificent forts and gardens as it is a representative of the finest Sufi tradition. Its complex and its spiritual discourse, sparkling with divine traditions of chadar, dhamal, mannat, qawwali, hal, all practiced in its shrine culture. The cycles of love, these are the gifts of our faqirs. The patron saint of Lahore is Data Ganj Bakhsh, and his shrine holds immense power over the hearts of the people. There is an apocryphal story that this young man went for Hajj, and while in Makkah, he became sick. So he is standing in front of Khana-e-Kaaba, which is the house of God, and he takes out his cell phone and he dials his mother in Lahore and says, Amma ji, go to Data Darbar and pray for me. She said, Abbe, you are standing in front of Kaaba. He said, no, Data ji ki baat aur hai. No wonder there is such a unique claim that the shrine is one place in Lahore that will always have its doors open to welcome each and every soul. The suffering, the afflicted, the seeker, the curious, the rejected, the chosen, the poor and rich, givers and takers, hopeless and hopeful, hungry and satiated, the depressed and joyful. Everyone is equally welcome in the shrines. There is no distinction in the eyes of the patron faqirs who preach solidarity through their messages of peace and love. This is what Lahore is all about. The problem is that to reach that manzil, that state, that maqam-e-shauq is not easy. Maqam-e-shauq tere qudsiyon ke bas ka nahi. It isn't something that angels can reach. Unhi ka kaam hai ye. जिनके हौसले हैं ज़ियाद. Ghalib had warned us a century earlier. हाँ वो नहीं खुदा परस्त, जाओ वो बेवफा सही, जिसको हो दीन ओ दिल अजीज, उसकी गली में जाए क्यों? Don't even bother to step near that gully if you are not willing to sacrifice everything there. हाँ वो नहीं खुदा परस्त. It's got to be unconditional love. You will get no return. जाओ वो बेवफा सही, जिसको हो दीन ओ दिल अजीज, उसकी गली में जाए क्यों? So what is it that you have to sacrifice for reaching this maqam-e-shauq? A collection of essays about nature by the Pulitzer Prize winning author Miss Annie Dillard was published last year. It is titled The Abundance. She was being interviewed on NPR and Melissa Block asked her, Miss Dillard, how did you come upon this title, The Abundance, for the collection of your essays? She said, well, you know, whenever I read something interesting, I make a note of it in my diary. And she said, some years back, I was reading the Quran and I came across this line. She said, I came across this line, they will question thee, what should they expend? You see, the word is not spend. Here the word used is expend, which means what can you do without? They will question thee, what should we expend? Say the abundance, give it all away. You will be filled from behind. Meaning, you have to give it all away for the maqam-e-shauq. You have to give your all, the abundance. You have to give your heart, your blood, your soul, your life, everything to achieve that maqam-e-shauq. There's a beautiful poem by Faiz Saab, another great Lahori, celebrating a life of Faqeeri despite being extremely wealthy. His friend Mian Iftikharuddin, the news of whose death reached Faiz Saab while he was in jail. And then he writes, Na gawao na bike neem kash, dile reza reza गंवा दिया, और जो बचे हैं संग समेट लो, तने दाग दाग लुटा दिया. मेरे चार अगर को नवीद हो, सफ़े दुश्मना को खबर करो. मेरे चार अगर को नवीद हो, सफ़े दुश्मना को खबर करो. जो वो कर्ज रखते थे जान पर, वो हिसाब आज चुका दिया. And before I read this third sher, which is why I started this ghazal, is Mr. I.K. Gujral, who was Prime Minister of India for a brief time, in his autobiography, quotes a very interesting incident that right after Mrs. Gandhi had declared emergency and she was ousted from power, she had become very depressed. He went to visit her one day and she was looking despondent. And nothing he said would cheer her up. So finally he read her this sher from this ghazal, which is just so beautiful. What is this sher? Karo kaj jabi pe sare kafan. So the Bankas of Lucknow, the young men, the show-offs, the beautiful people of Lucknow, they used to wear their cap a little tilted. Hubris, pride, the vigor of youth to show all of that. What is the poet saying? Though I am dead, tilt the cap of my shroud on my head. करो कज जबी पे सरे कफन, मेरे कातिलों को गुमा न हो कि गुरूर इश्क का बांकपन पसे मर्ग हमने भुला दिया. This word bankpan here, is there another word that can come? No, I can't translate it. Tilt the cap of the shroud on my coffin because I don't want my murderers to think that after death I have forgotten the pride I took in my love. This is the moment of fulfillment for me, in other words. Na gamao na wake neem kash, dile reza reza gama diya. जो बचे हैं संग समेट लो, तने दाग दाग लुटा दिया. मेरे चार अगर को नवीद हो, सफ़े दुश्मना को खबर करो. जो वो कर्ज रखते थे जान पर, वो हिसाब आज चुका दिया. करो कद जबीं पे सरे कफन, मेरे कातिलों को गुमा न हो कि गुरूर इश्क का बांकपन पसे मर्ग हमने भुला दिया. After that, whenever Mrs. Gandhi was depressed, she would call Gujral Sahab and say, वो टोपी वाला शेर सुना दो. उधर एक हर्फ की कुश्तनी, यहाँ लाख उज्र थे गुफ्तनी, जो कहा तो सुन के उड़ा दिया, जो लिखा तो पढ़ के मिटा दिया, और जो रुके तो कोहे गिरा थे हम, जो चले तो जान से गुजर गए, रहे यार हमने कदम कदम तुझे यादगार बना दिया. The point I'm making is that it is Lahore and its great Sufi saints and its poets like Iqbal and Faiz and 100 others who set down the highest standards of human conduct with compassion and with kindness, and who cautioned us about the readiness for sacrifice. Once the goal is clear, then nothing can come in between. Every drop of blood, every last breath must be sacrificed with humility and sensitivity on the altar of love. Mehkhana salamat hai to hum surkhiye mein se. Now mehkhana here is not the pub, but of course your own body. As long as I am alive, as long as I have this corporeal existence, mehkhana salamat hai to hum surkhiye mein se tazeen daro baam haram karte rahenge. We will keep using our blood to decorate the walls and doors of our beloved's home. Mehkhana salamat hai to hum surkhiye mein se तज़ीन दरो बाम हरम करते रहेंगे, और बाकी है लहू दिल में तो हर अश्क से पैदा, बाकी है लहू दिल में तो हर अश्क से पैदा, रंगे लबो रुखसार सनम करते रहेंगे. This is what you need to do. With every last drop of blood, I will paint the lips and cheeks of my beloved. Every last drop of blood. For the modern day man and woman, the sheer vigor and velocity of daily living, juggling not 3 but 30 dimensions of work and your personal life, is by itself exhausting and draining. But this is all the outer journeys. Honestly, I'm becoming very allergic to everyone telling me how busy they are. They can't read, they can't write, they can't watch movies, they can't go to a play, they can't do anything, too busy. Dr. Raza, you have a lot of time. Sorry, we don't have time. Hello. Remember, life is what is happening when you are too busy making plans to spend life. You should let Faqeeri be your guide, which means the internal journey. You don't need anything for that. मंजिलों की खबर खुदा जाने, मंजिलों की खबर खुदा जाने, इश्क है रहनुमा फ़कीरों का. More than life, man is very complex, more than life, capable of holding opposing attributes simultaneously and seamlessly within himself. I love a story by Paul Farmer, who is an infectious disease expert at Harvard. In his biography by Tracy Kidder, Mountains Beyond Mountains, I recommend it to all the young people. So Paul, who's an infectious disease physician, is in Haiti on one of his humanitarian missions, there to treat multi-drug resistance TB, which is a killer. And while holding his clinic under a tree, Here comes an older woman with her son and 3 grandchildren. All of them have this MDR, multi-drug resistance TB, very lethal condition. Before he could see her, the local young Haitian doctor leans over to him and says, "You know, Paul, this old woman believes that TB comes from spirits. So I don't know if we should be wasting our very expensive medicines on her." So Paul Farmer said, "Well, let me try." And he sits her down when her turn comes and he says, "Look, you are responsible for 5 lives, you, your son, and the 3 grandchildren. These are the medications. If you make sure that everyone takes it, you'll be cured. But it's up to you. I'm going to give you 1 month supply and you have to keep coming back every month to take the next month's supply." She said, "Fine." She took it, went away, returned the next month. Everyone had taken medication. And she kept coming back. A year went by and they were all cured. So when she came for her final visit, Paul Farmer was so excited. He said, I sat her down. I said, "You know, it is amazing that you have saved 5 lives because you religiously came back and took this medication, made sure everyone takes it, and now everyone is cured. And to think that before I started, my colleague here had told me that you think TB comes from spirits." She said, "And yes, doctor, I know exactly the person who put the hex on me." He was so shocked. He said, "Wow, I'm really amazed that someone like you, who followed my instructions down to the crossing the T's and dotting the I's, is saying this." And he says the answer she gave him, it made him feel this big. You know what she said to him? He said, "How can you of all people say this to me?" And she looked at him and she said, "So doctor, there's no room for complexity in your life?" Room for complexity. This is what that driver in Lahore understood. This is what the TB patient in Haiti understood. At a fundamental, intuitive, and a primeval level, they are at home with these complexities at a visceral and experiential level. They accept it. They get it in a practical way much better than an academic like us. They know how to balance these complexities. This is why the driver can live in a pragmatic, practical world while reciting तमन्ना दर्द दिल की हो तो कर खिदमत फ़कीरों की, नहीं मिलते ये गौहर, मिलता ये गौहर बादशाहों के खजीनों में. Today we are here for this annual Urdu conference. The theme is Lahore. I chose the title of my talk to be Shahi and Faqeeri, Lahore at its best. Lahore in particular, but Punjab in general, can justifiably claim the crown, the Shahi, for being the cultural center of our country. The larger than life writers, poets, artists, singers, performers, playwrights, musicians, actors, journalists, activists, they prove it. I can't start recounting names because they are endless. Indeed, Lahore is the king of creative arts in all of South Asia. But my point is that the real source of all this creativity, this Shahi, rests on Faqeeri. Lahore's message is औरों का है पयाम और मेरा पयाम और है, इश्क के दर्दमंद का तर्ज़े कलाम और है. The message of others is different, my message is different. The style of addressing even of the one in love is very different. That is what Lahore's message is. That is why these lines hit home. Chal buliya, chal utthe chaliye, जित्थे सारे अन्ने, अन्ने means blind, अंधे, चल बुलिया, चल उत्थे चलिए जित्थे सारे अन्ने, ना कोई साड़ी जात पहचाने, ना कोई सानू मन्ने. Bullya, let's go and live in the land of the blind. No one will see what our caste is or care what our accomplishments. Or these divine lines from Faiz. बीता दीद उम्मीद का मौसम, खाक उड़ती है आँखों में, कब भेजोगे दर्द का बादल, कब बरखा बरसाओगे. किसने वस्ल का सूरज देखा, किस पर हिजर की रात ढली. I mean, what is he really saying here? किसने वस्ल का सूरज देखा, किस पर हिजर की रात ढली. Meaning, the dreams, the amazing goals we had set out for ourselves. Who has ever experienced that calm of consummation? We are all suffering from being on a journey into irresolution, the enigma of incompletion that I keep talking about. किसने वस्ल का सूरज देखा, किस पर हिजर की रात ढली, गेसुओं वाले कौन थे क्या थे, इनको क्या जतलाओगे. So what is the meaning of life that is taught to us by the faqirs? The greatest lesson of all great Sufis and true faqirs is only one and the same: seek and gain knowledge. What knowledge and how to seek it? This knowledge does not come from pursuing treasures of this earth through Shahi and Shahi. It comes from unearthing the buried treasures of the intellect through faqr. To witness these treasures, you have to purify your hearts, a dynamic interiorization of infinite unfolding from within. The ultimate faqr, in fact, is a radical forgetting in order to remember what is important. Usi par ishq jachta hai. What a beautiful line. Jachta is a lovely word. उसी पर इश्क जचता है जो अंदर से कलंदर हो. Love comes to those who are kalandri inside. Kalandri is a state one reaches after forgetting oneself to the extent of experiencing oneness with the beloved. So unless you reach that state, you shouldn't even dare to declare love. उसी पर इश्क जचता है जो अंदर से कलंदर हो. Why is knowledge important? Here is our first qalandar, our first Sufi, Alida Pehla number. That's why we say, because he was the first Sufi. Acquiring knowledge is better than acquiring wealth, because you need to guard wealth, but knowledge guards you. A man of wealth has many enemies, but a man of knowledge, many friends. Distribution increases knowledge, reduces wealth. A learned person is generous, while the wealthy tend to be miserly. Wealth can be stolen, not knowledge. Knowledge judges, while wealth is judged. Wealth decreases with time, knowledge increases. Knowledge is boundless, but wealth has a limit. Knowledge illuminates the mind, wealth tends to darken it. Wealth puffs up the pride, knowledge teaches humility. And finally, above everything else, wealth takes away a certain humanity. Dard-e-dil. Knowledge induces compassion, kindness, empathy, love, humanity. रब रब करते बुढ़े हो गए मुल्ला पंडित सारे. रब रब करते बुढ़े हो गए मुल्ला पंडित सारे. रब दा खोज खरा ना लब्बा सिजदे कर कर मारे. रब ते तेरे अंदर वसदा, विच कुरान इशारे, बुल्ले शाह रब उन्हों मिलसी जिड़ा अपने नफ्स नू मारे। What a profound thing. बुल्ले शाह रब उन्हों मिलसी जिड़ा अपने नफ्स नू मारे। Ultimately, real knowledge is unattainable without participation of the soul, and this requires an elimination of nafs, which is ego. Apne nafs nu mare. So the definition of a real faqir is one who struggles against his ego through knowledge. It is not a fight against your soul, it is a fight for your soul. पढ़ पढ़ इल्म हजार किताबां ते कदी अपने आप नू पढ़िया ना, जा जा वरदे मंदिर मसीती ते कदी मन अपने विच वड़िया ना, लड़ना रोज शैतान दे नाल ते कदी नफ्स अपने विच लड़िया ना, बुल्ले शाह आसमानी उड़दी फड़ो नहीं ते जिड़ा घर बैठा उन्हें फड़िया ना। Look at the Punjabi shairs, from Allama Iqbal to Bulle Shah to Faiz Ahmad Faiz, the same message over and over. True knowledge imparts the happiness of a homecoming. It is a return from the exile of ignorance. The Imam said about a friend who died, what made him great in my eyes? Listen to this line. It is an amazing line. What made him great in my eyes was the smallness of the world in his. This is the complete definition of faqr. The smallness of the world in his makes you great. The true intellectual is one who thinks correctly, acts ethically. This is the ihsani tradition, the pursuit of things beautiful, both for the mind and for the heart. Goodness does not need a reward. Goodness itself is a reward. The fruit of a good action is like its root, meaning that the intention is already in an invisible but spiritually palpable way its own fulfillment. The fruit of a good action is like its root. The sum total of this lecture then is that Faqeeri is what opens the door to real knowledge of the self and then of the world around us. It is what leads us to the real kind of Shahi, the only one worth having. And no land has imparted this lesson more consistently, more clearly, more beautifully, more lovingly than the city of Lahore. Lahore is the best faqir and therefore it will always rule our hearts. Lahore is the Shah and we are its faqirs. Let us all salute Lahore. Lahore Zindabad. But the final words will belong to another girl from Karachi, sorry. Fahmida Riaz. But one who echoes the words of a Lahori, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, in her refrain. She is imagining what Faiz Sahab would say to us if he was alive today. So I'll read you the last stanza from her poem called Faiz Kehte. If he was alive, what would he say? And this message is especially for all the young people in the room. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रहजन हैं इतने. रहजन रॉबर, हाईवे रॉबर. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रहजन हैं इतने, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है. अरे कुछ और तो अक्सर होता है. कुछ और तो अक्सर होता है। कुछ लोग तुम्हें ब्यूटीफुल, कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे, जो है वो भी खो सकता है। इस राह में रहज़न है इतने, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है। कुछ और तो अक्सर होता है, पर तुम जिस लम्हे में ज़िंदा हो, ये लम्हा तुमसे ज़िंदा है। तुम जिस लम्हे में ज़िंदा हो, ये लम्हा तुमसे ज़िंदा है। ये वक्त नहीं फिर आएगा, तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, जो होगा देखा जाएगा। Thank you so much. Thank you very much.